Hi, my name is Talia. I'm a staff member at Discovery, and I'm going to help you do your homework today.
Okay, so we're using the FIFA19 dataset, looking at soccer players, and we want to use k-means to make three clusters with three characteristics. And those three characteristics are strength, interceptions, and acceleration. And we're going to use those to sort out the dataset, put them in three groups. But before that, for some reason, you want to filter it down so it only includes players with positions CB, LW, and RB. Don't ask me what those stand for, I don't know. And then overall, greater than or equal to 70, and that's their score in the data set. So yeah, this is our premise, and let's get started. And this question is actually really helpful. It gives us a lot of starter code to go off of, including our import statements, the df, which is where we're going to filter our data frame into these characteristics that we named earlier, and then our k-mean steps. So our first step, like I said earlier, is to filter it down, and we do that using row selection, like we've done multiple times before. So df equals FIFA19, not df because, oh, I messed it up. The data frame is actually called FIFA19. And put our brackets in. Oops. FIFA19 position equal CB. Make sure you put CB in quotes because this is a string, so you're matching position with CB. Or using our or symbol, which is a straight line, FIFA19 position can be LW.
Double equal.
Oh, double equal, thank you. Let's do another or. I'm gonna jump down here. FIFA19 position could be RB. All right. So that's our positions, but I'm going to say one more thing. You actually do want to have parentheses in between each one of these statements, like bordering the or symbols, just because otherwise Python gets confused and it makes an error. So you want to put an extra parenthesis around each one to kind of separate them from each other. All right. And so now we've ended the double parenthesis, we can go on to including the overall score, because our players have to be either one of these positions and they have to have an overall score greater than or equal to 70. So like I said, and let's draw our and symbol. Oops. FIFA19 overall greater than or equal to 70, and parentheses, close the final square bracket. Don't forget this final square bracket here. So we finished our data frame. Now we can keep going ahead with the actual clustering part of the problem. And this was mostly written out for you. This creates the process to start doing k-means, and you just have to specify. The only thing left is how many clusters we want, and that goes in the n clusters parameter, which the value is 3, as the problem told us, 3 clusters based on 3 characteristics. Don't worry about this random state thing. This just allows it so it doesn't actually make it random. It simulates randomness so everybody gets the same answer. Not gonna totally explain it, but that's what that is. Don't worry about it. Our next step is to actually fit our data to the characteristics that we have here. So k-means equals k-means.fit. And don't be confused by the fact that we're using the word k-means here. I think in class they teach it to you as model because they're making a model. So otherwise this would say model, but that's not a huge deal. We're just calling that variable k-means instead of model. A little confusing, but we could call this anything. This does not have to be called k-means. Okay, moving on. K-means.fit, and you want to fit it on think, wait, let me check. Okay, yeah, these are parentheses. Sorry. Parentheses. FIFA19. And then you add a square bracket to go into the data frame. And then another square bracket because we're listing out our characteristics that we want to fit the data on here. And that's strength, interceptions, and acceleration. But because there's multiple characteristics that we're doing, we're going to have to put double square brackets instead of just one to indicate that we have a list, right? So let's start out just being like strength, interceptions, just ran out of space there, acceleration. And again, make sure you spell everything right, make sure you have quotes around everything, and just to reiterate, it's a list of columns, so there's 2 square brackets. Now we've fit our data to our 3 characteristics. Next, we want to use the same 3 characteristics to predict new clusters for all of our characters in the DF. And we want to store that in a new column called cluster, so that we know we can just look at this data frame and then see what cluster each player ended up falling in. So that's written out for you. A column called cluster, wow, alliteration. A column called cluster already written out for you. You just have to know what you put in it. And very, very similar to the previous line, you just write k-means dot predict and then indicate the same list of characteristics that you used to fit the data. Interceptions. I apologize if my handwriting is bad in this part, but you know what I'm writing out. And then acceleration. All right, close it out. And that's it. You've completed all steps of the k-means clustering process. And if you look at this data frame, you'd be able to see a new column called cluster and be like 1, 2, 3, or whatever. Good.